We live in a world where the kings of the FPS genre have fallen off their thrones. The newest Battlefield is garbage, the past like 10 Call of Duties have been absolutely terrible, and 343 has Kobe'd the Halo franchise right into the trash. And because all of our favorite franchises have fallen so hard, it is with great confusion that I introduced Delta Force as the new king of the FPS genre, at least for now, because this game has been atop of the Steam charts for months now, and other than CS2, it has been by far the most popular FPS that is not a battle royale, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, if you guys know why, please let me know in the comments, because I'm just confused on how this game has continued to average around 60 to 70,000 players, and oftentimes peaking well into over 100,000 players. It's quite interesting. Now, before I talk about why I think this game is so popular, I just want to say I'm not dumping on the game, even though it may seem like it, because in my eyes, the game is not amazing by any means, but I will give them credit where credit is due, because you don't retain as many players as this game has if your game is shit, so they must be doing something right. But with that out of the way, let's talk about why I think the game is still popping off, because I can really only think of two logical reasons why this game is absolutely killing it. The first reason is the same reason I stated in the beginning. I believe that the top players in the classic multiplayer FPS genre have completely just fumbled the bag. They don't have the touch anymore. Now I'm gonna go off the rails a bit here to further prove this point, so bear with me. There was a point in time where if you asked someone what their favorite multiplayer shooter was, their answer would be one of the following: Call of Duty, Halo, Battlefield, or Gears of War. And there might be some other answers sprinkled in there too, but for the most part, as a console gamer, these were the big four, because these franchises all put out very quality games at the time, while also being very different in the experiences they offered. Battlefield with its destructible environments and large-scale battles, Halo with its great gunplay, floaty movement, and community-driven content, Call of Duty and its simple yet fluid gameplay and class systems, and Gears of War with its third-person view and tactile movement. These games were peak FPS, and there was no question about it, but today, it's a different story, because all of these games slipped on banana peels and fell right down the stairs, and the vibration from that fall caused the piano to also fall down the stairs and completely crush them. The newest entry in each one of these franchises, except for Gears 5 somewhat, are fucking terrible. Battlefield 2042 was an unfinished and bland mess. Call of Duty has been the same trash game for about 12 years with no signs of improving, and Halo has been slaughtered by 343, which absolutely hurts my soul to say. And Gears of War hasn't suffered as much as these other games, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. But anyways, I believe because these huge franchises shit the bed so bad that it just completely lowered the bar for what's considered a good shooter, which is why Delta Force seems like a huge breath of fresh air to the genre, because from a classic multiplayer FPS perspective, there's really no competition, especially since the game is free, which is my second reason. This game being free with the amount of content it has is actually quite impressive. Like, I wouldn't say anything about the game is completely terrible. The game itself is very smooth and works 99.9% of the time for me. The gameplay feels just good enough to keep people hooked, and they've supported the game pretty well so far. It's got the warfare mode, which is where you play those larger scale battles. They have a story mode, I believe, which you can go through solo or with someone, and they have operations that serves as their extraction mode, which for what it is pretty okay. Though if I wanted to play an extraction shooter, this would probably not be it. But regardless, there is a lot here. So the fact that this game is free and has more content within the first few months of its launch than some of the bigger FPS franchises have within their first year says a lot. The game does have all the free-to-play slop though, because as soon as you hit the main menu, you got your battle pass over to your left, then you look over to your right and then there's a cosmetics store, and then whoa, what's that right above you? Oh my god, there's 3 different fucking in-game currencies? No way. Even though there is, that stuff, you can't really blame them because they gotta make money somehow, so I'll cut them a break on that. Now, despite all the praise I just gave Delta Force, I'm gonna talk about my main problem with the game. And that main problem is, while the game is fun, it just feels like the most generic and soulless shooter I've ever played. And I know that sounds pretty contradictory, saying it's fun but soulless, and it's kind of hard to explain. Like, the game itself feels like a worse version of a Battlefield game, but they do certain things just good enough to keep me playing. I don't know, anyone who's played the game probably knows what I'm talking about. And this kind of brings me back to the first reason on why I think the game is so popular. Because people want a good Battlefield game. The last truly great Battlefield to come out was BF1 back in 2016, almost 10 years ago. That's kind of a long time. I mean, after Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 came out, and it was okay, but it just didn't click with most people. And then 2042 came out, and that was just like a prank, you know, like a joke. So while we wait and pray for the next Battlefield to be great, we have Delta Force to scratch the Battlefield itch. And I think that, just generally speaking, Delta Force is stealing a lot of thunder from other big players in the space as well, not just Battlefield. And I give them props for that. They saw an opportunity to deliver players a free-to-play, fun FPS that can put all these other games to shame, and there's no doubt they've been successful in doing that. So with all that said, I want to know what you guys think of Delta Force down below, whether you hate it, love it, haven't played it, you know, that type of stuff. But that's it for me though. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.